I don't think there's ever a quiet day in New York. Hey guys, this is NinaVida and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about what it's been like driving in New York, some pros and cons, as well as all of my parking tickets that I've paid for. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So if you guys are interested, just keep on watching. This lighting and shadows, it's gonna drive me crazy, but we're just gonna have to make it work. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I am a New York-based flight attendant. I've been flying for about 7 months now, and I'm originally from Tampa, Florida. So right after training ended, I drove my car from Miami to Tampa. My family's in Tampa, and I left my car there and I took a flight to New York just to figure things out. And at that time, I lived in a crash pad, which I have that link down below, my crash pad horror story video, if you guys want to check that out. I was living at a crash pad. It was walking distance from LaGuardia Airport, and for the most part I would walk, but some days, you know, if I got back in at like midnight or something, I'm not gonna walk. It was about, I would say about 15 minutes an average walk, and if I took an Uber it was like 5 minutes, and I don't think I ever took the bus, but because it was just so close. But if we walked to this one street, there was a free bus that took us right into the airport. So I lived about walking distance from LaGuardia, but I lived further away from JFK Airport. And so to get to JFK, I actually would always Uber from my old crash pad, which Ubers add up in New York. They can be pretty expensive, and I just never got used to taking the bus because it wasn't like, you know, you walk outside your door, there's a bus that picks you up right there outside of your door, and it's just one bus that takes you right to your job. It's not like that. I feel like a lot of people who aren't from New York, who have never visited New York, they're just like, oh, just take the subway, it's so easy, you know. They just think that it's one subway that picks you up and takes you where you need to go, or one bus that picks you up and takes you where you need to go. It's pretty difficult. It was pretty difficult when I first moved here, just to get the whole like train system and bus system. So I would just take Ubers, and those added up. And I also had my car payment, my car insurance. So it was just best for me to bring my car up. I waited, I think I drove my car up about 2 months after I moved to New York. And honestly, it's been bittersweet. So some of the pros about having my car, right now I live between both airports. So LaGuardia is right here, JFK is right here, and I live right in the middle. It takes me on a very good day about 15 to 20 minutes to drive to work. Once I drive to work, I park in the employee parking lot, take the bus to the terminal. Super easy, super simple. And on a bad day, it's probably, I think at the most time it took me to come back home was like 30-35 minutes, which still isn't bad considering, you know, that's like with traffic, so it's not that bad. Another pro about having my car is I have family in New Jersey, so I got to visit them and, you know, spend holidays with them, or birthdays, or if I just wanted to go see them, I was able to drive my car, and it would take me, you know, about an hour and 20 minutes versus take the bus to the train to the New Jersey Transit. It's just too much. Another great thing about having my car is if I ever wake up late, which has happened a few times, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to be in work in like, you know, less than an hour. I was able to hurry up, grab my belongings, get dressed real quick, drive to the airport, and be there on time, versus it's like, damn it, now I have to either spend $30 on Uber or take the transit, which would take more than an hour. So, you know, if I was ever needed to be somewhere really quick, I had my car. Another thing that I like is I live in Queens, Flushing, Queens. So whenever I want to go to the city, all I do is drive my car to Astoria. I drive about, I don't know, it takes me like 15 minutes to get to Astoria. I'll park around Astoria and then I'll take the N train into the city. So it's like drive my car to Astoria, park there, and then I'm already in the city practically, versus having once again to take a bus to a train to a bus to a train to a bus. But yeah, I always get questions like, why do you drive in New York? You don't need a car in New York. And I just feel like for me, I'm so used to having my car. I'm used to, you know, waking up, hopping in my car, driving to the store easily to get whatever I need, then drive back easily. And it's very different driving in New York. Now let's get into a little bit of the cons. So the number one issue for me with the driving in New York is parking. Finding parking is kind of annoying. It's actually not the worst thing. The worst thing is all of the parking tickets that I've gotten, which I will get into. But parking, so for where I live right now in Queens, Flushing, Queens, we have to parallel park. So I can actually show you guys. I'm sitting next to my window, but if you guys look, this is like outside. So everyone is parallel parked. Also, excuse the noise. We have very annoying neighbors. So if you hear anyone running or any dogs barking, sorry about that. So yeah, in Queens you have to parallel park. I mean, majority of New York you have to parallel park. I'm not used to parallel parking, so I had to get used to that, and I'm gonna show you guys a picture of my car. It's really tiny. It's not a smart car, but it's fairly easy for me to park. Thankfully, my company provides like free parking at the airports at LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. I'm able to park at their parking lot for free, so that's great. It's just, you know, coming home from work and finding parking. I think I've spent like 20 minutes trying to find parking once, and it was just driving me crazy. For the most part, I find parking pretty quick and pretty close, but there's just those few instances where I just get really annoyed and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so over this. Another thing that I absolutely hate, it drives me so crazy, and lately I've been getting used to it, but in the beginning it drove me so crazy, was the honking. Honking. Literally the light will turn green in like a millisecond. Someone will be honking their horn for you to go. And I'm the type of person that if you honk at me for no reason, I'm gonna honk back. That's just me. If I'm that car that's like right in front of the light, no one's in front of me, and a car just honked at me and the light just turned green, I'm honking back, because there's no reason for you to honk at me. I'm gonna go. People in New York need to be a little bit more patient. All right, now let's get into all of my parking tickets. So I remember when I was at the crash pad, I had my car. My very first parking ticket was for parking too close to the fire hydrant. I always say fire extinguisher, but it's fire hydrant. And I was so mad. I was like, what? How was I supposed to know that you can't park? I mean, I wasn't close to it, but apparently you have to park more than 4 feet away, which I didn't know, obviously, and there's no signs that says that. So I got a ticket that was $115. Every time you park close to the fire hydrant, you get a $115 ticket. Guys, I've gotten in the past, I have goosebumps. In over like 7 months, I've gotten about like 5 of those tickets, because I think that I'm not close to it, but according to the parking person, I'm very close to it. Another huge thing about driving in New York, probably the most important thing, wherever you park, you have to read the signs. So right now, you know, I'm in a residential area. I park my car. On one side, the sign says no parking. You can't park for street cleaning or whatever between Thursdays between 10:30 in the morning and 12. So one side is 10:30 and 12 on Thursdays, and on the right side is 10:30 to 12 on Fridays. So I always have to, you know, keep in mind Thursdays and Fridays I can't park here. Thursdays and Fridays between these times I can't park here. Well guys, I'm a flight attendant. I have a whole bunch of things going on. I never even know half the time what day it is. So sometimes I slip up and I forget that I'm not supposed to park somewhere, and I've woken up out of my sleep a few times frantic, like, oh my god, it's 11 o'clock, I forgot to move my car. I run outside to my car and there's $115 ticket. So I've gotten a few of those, and I've gotten, okay, this is not funny, but I've gotten one speeding ticket. It was $50 for speeding throughout a school zone. I swear, I promise I'm a good driver, you guys, but parking has been a nightmare for me in New York. Recently, this was less than a month ago, I parked, okay, alongside of, so I'm driving looking for parking, and this street right here, there was a whole line of cars. And I go to park and I look at the signs and it says, you know, you can't park on Wednesdays at this time, and it was like, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. And I park and I see a sign that says no standing zone. So to me, if I see a sign that says no standing zone, you would think that means not to stand there. I don't know. So I ended up parking about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet away from that sign, and there was a car in front of me. So there was a car in front of me, there was a car behind me. And that's my thing, what I do now. So I try not to even park near a fire hydrant, because somehow, you know, just my luck, I'll get another ticket. So I just try to park between cars. So I parked between cars. I woke up the next morning, my car was towed. I had just had it. I was like, I'm over New York, I'm over parking, this is crazy having my car here. But you know, if I could sell my car and not pay car payment and not pay car insurance, I would do it. But since I'm paying for it, I might as well have my car here and not just like have that money wasted or whatever. Also, that was a really bad day. On top of me getting my car towed, and I had to pay about $180 for me to get my car out, there was a ticket on top of my car, another $115 ticket, which I actually have to pay for today. And it was just too much. And just to prove to you guys that all of this has happened, I'll show you. So there's this app, it's called Pay or Dispute. And I'm gonna go to payment history. This is so bad, but yeah. These are all of my parking tickets that I paid for. A waste of money. And a lot of people are like, oh, how are you always so broke? I always tell people I work to pay off my parking tickets. Another crazy thing about driving in New York is I've seen like twice, I've seen people hit someone's car while they're parking and they'll just drive away. I have dents on my car from, I don't know what, someone hitting me. I've woken up and just gone out to my car and there's dents, and it's just so annoying because people like aren't considerate. You know, if you're gonna parallel park, try not to hit other people's cars. I don't know. Another con about having your car in New York is obviously maintenance reasons. You can take public transportation and you don't have to deal with paying for gas, paying for new tires, paying for just your car breaking down. My car has broken down a few times in the beginning because of a tire issue, and then I had to like pay all this money because I had to get a new thermostat, I think, and something else. So that was like $500. I've literally spent so much on my car in the 7 months that I've been here. And one of the last things I want to talk about is driving in New York, as in weather-wise. So obviously in Florida, I know how to drive when it's raining a lot or windy or whatever, but obviously I'm not used to driving in the snow. So when I first drove to the employee parking lot, they have a sign that says shovel is in the guard rack or something like that. Something about a shovel being in the like guard station. And I was like, a shovel. So haven't had to do this yet, but apparently you have to shovel your car out of the snow in the winter. I'm super scared to drive in the snow. I don't think I ever will, obviously for like safety reasons, and at that point if I have to get to work and it's snowing, I'll just take an Uber, which I had to one time about the first day that it snowed here. I don't remember, I think it was in November, I don't remember, but I remember it was snowing and it was like the first snowfall of the year, and of course I had to go to work that day, so I ended up taking a really expensive Uber because there was no way that I could drive, and the Uber was like $50. It was crazy. But yeah, I think I have some footage I'm gonna show you guys. And then the second time it snowed, it was recently, it was this past Wednesday. I had just came from Tampa, from visiting Tampa, and it was so cold, and 20 minutes after we landed, it was a blizzard outside. I'm not being dramatic, I promise. There was practically a blizzard, and I was like, how am I gonna drive home in this? So I just sat in ops and I waited for a few hours. And then I drove home fine, and as I was driving I was just so confused. Like, it was just snowing so much for like, I don't know, 30 minutes straight, and then I mean, I guess like the snow just melted away, but then I heard about there's like black ice that you have to be careful with. I don't know, there's just so much that I don't know because I'm not from a state that snows. So if you guys have any tips for me, comment down below. But yeah, those are some pros and cons of me having my car in New York. If you guys are planning on moving to New York and bringing your car, just consider everything that I talked about. Obviously, hopefully you guys will learn from my mistakes. I hope you guys never get any parking tickets. Make sure you park far away from fire hydrants. Don't speed. Always wear your seatbelt, of course. It is bittersweet, like I said, having my car here. For the most part, I like it. I like having my car. I like being able to just jump in my car, drive to Trader Joe's, or like even down the street when it's really cold right now, so I'd rather just drive to Walgreens than walk to Walgreens. I'm just so used to, you know, the lifestyle of having my car and driving. So if I lived in the city, obviously I would not drive. I would not have my car if I lived in New York City, but I live in Queens. Also, another thing before I leave, traffic-wise, honestly, Florida drivers are way crazier than New York drivers. Yes, New York drivers are more aggressive and they may honk every second, and in Florida they're more chill, but I would see a car accident in Florida, I kid you not, every week. Multiple accidents every week driving in Florida, versus in New York I've probably seen two like car accidents. So you just have to look at your pros and cons when driving up here. And that's all I have for you guys today. Stay tuned for more videos, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn the little bell on next to the subscribe button if you guys want to be notified whenever I post a video. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, and I'll see you guys next time.